Now, in my opinion, the testing done by WADA and those rules are inept. They're very weak. And the reason is because they have two sets of prohibited substances, and I'm talking about USADA now, and UKAD, comparing to VADA. And they have a certain list that they test for on fight night, and they have another list of out of competition that they test for on training camp. Well, I'm here to tell you today that 84 substances, all stimulants and all narcotics, are not tested for by USADA or any WADA accredited lab, UKAD, or any others. So talk about a giant loophole. You can use phentermine that Oscar Valdez tested positive for, which is the most prescribed weight loss drug in the world today. These guys are dropping 20, 30 pounds in a month. Well, they're using a drug that they're not testing for. That is a giant loophole that needs to be closed, especially in a sport like boxing, where you have to make weight, if that makes sense. Now, let's talk about, I said there's two, fight night and in competition and out of competition testing. VADA decided to tighten this up, and they believe that if a substance enhances performance on fight night, that it also enhances performance during training camp. So when you sign their enrollment form, it says that we will test for all prohibited substances at all times. So there's a big difference, okay, in what USADA is doing and what VADA is doing. VADA is far more stringent.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the jury, members of the Roll the Tape film crew, I just have to correct Victor on a few things. First and foremost, he just said that VADA is far more stringent. However, we know at this point that WADA is the association that created the code, that created the protocols that USADA follows and VADA do not follow. USADA follow it because they are a code signatory. VADA do not follow it. However, the 35 WADA accredited labs all across the world, they follow the protocol. VADA, who claim they don't follow it through Victor Conti, that's what he said, that they don't follow it in this same interview, they actually use the WADA accredited labs to perform the testing procedures. So how can VADA be more stringent than USADA or any other anti-doping agency across the world when they use the same exact WADA accredited labs and WADA protocol through the code that WADA created, just like USADA does? Also, I also have to say this because this is as equally as important. We saw that the forms that you can all publicly see on VADA's website, which you see on your screen right now, you can actually look at these forms. And the form that I have up here is the admissions form. Victor Conti calls it the enrollment form. And y'all just heard him. He said, his words, not mine, that on this enrollment form, VADA states clearly that they will test for all prohibited substances at all times. Well, I've examined the entire 3 pages of the enrollment form, and I couldn't find not one sentence that corroborated the statement of Victor Conti. And neither will you when you go ahead and you investigate it and you thoroughly read it in its entirety. All 3 pages. You won't find that statement nowhere on the documentation. But see, I believe that you all, neither did Victor Conti know at the time that he said that right in front of my face, live and live in color, that I already read all of the forms that's on Vada's website way before he got up there in the interview. So I already know what the forms say. Needless to say, it's unfortunate that we have to continuously go through this process day after day, week after week. When I place certain videos out, you have seen the inconsistencies yourself. You have heard the contradictions yourself. So you can't keep judging me and saying that I'm hating and I'm doing something wrong when you have the evidence that you need before you. And you'll just have to be the judge of it. You know what? I'm doing way too much talking. Don't take my word for it. Roll the tape.
So they learned a lot about how to use these drugs and how Balco was circumventing their policies and procedures. And I also said to the world on ABC, I said, circumventing the testing is as easy as taking candy from a baby. Do you remember that?
Say that. Okay. I do remember that.